Howdy everyone, Lateralus here of Team Rankstar with my teammate EndoZoa,
Hello, everybody.
and we are on episode 3 now of our top 25 best cards and legends. Today we will be going through 15 down to number 11, and quick recap once again to our criteria. It is we base this off three main factors: how much a card impacts the current metagame, and how many times or copies of it is seen in multiple high tier decks, tier 1, tier 2 type decks, as well as of course its effect or impact on a game when played within said game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up number 15 on our list, and we have Mournhold Trader. This has been a staple in aggressive green decks for pretty much since the beginning of time, dating way back to the early Archer days. But again, it's still seen in a lot of like aggro Lalu and tempo assassin type lists. It's just a heavily overstated creature with a downside that can a lot of times be controlled.
Yeah, so this card is very synergistic, kind of within its color. It's similar to Goblin Skulk. It's a very powerful, but again, brittle threat in the sense that where with Skulk, it's very easy to kill it as a 2-elf, 2-cost creature. Trader, there's a big downside when it dies. But as you said, its downside can be mitigated. So, for instance, Goblin Skulk is typically seen in decks that also contain Trader, and the Skulk Curse package is a very good way of dealing with the 2/1 Mournhold Guardians. It's an efficient way to clear 2/1s. Similarly, green has a lot of protective tools like Shadow Shift that can allow you to get your traders out of the way of opposing Fighter's Guild recruits and that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, when you look at this card, it's not hard to see why it's so powerful. I mean, it's a 2-cost 4/4. There is nothing at 2 or 3 mana that does 4 damage. It's just super overstated, and if you can protect it, can snowball a game crazily fast. There's really nothing else like it in the game.
Yep. All right, so let's see what we have at number 14 now. And it is going to be yet another 2-drop, guys. We got Wardcrafter. This is really a staple blue card. It is probably not in every single blue deck, but it is in the majority of them. And I think the biggest thing it has going for it is just its versatility. It can be really strong on turn 1 or 2, and it can also be strong later in the game, giving something else ward, and allowing it to trade into or something to trade in for free, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you consider how highly we rated Wingkeep Spellsword, it should really tell you something about how completely absurd this is. Because a 2/1 word is noticeably worse than a 2/2 word, but it's not worse. Then you think about the fact that, I mean, Wordcrafter just isn't even primarily played as a 2-drop to ward itself. Like you said, being able to use it as a combat trick is absolutely ridiculous. Using it to protect brittle threats, like the Trader and Skulk mentioned before, is super important. But also, I mean, there's even, its partner in crime, Daggerfall Mage, has an effect that occurs when its ward is broken. Similarly, in decks like Mid-Battle Mage, you have Breton Conjurer, another card where specifically there's word synergy. The card, it's just ridiculous that beyond the raw value you get out of it, there's even synergy built into the game to take advantage of it. It's good at any step of the way. It's a good proactive play. It's a good reactive play. It can trick combat. It can just develop mana efficient threat. I mean, it's kind of all you want in a package.
All right, so that will be it for Wardcrafter. Up next, we have Ancano. Now, this is a card that when it was introduced in, geez, what was this? This was, help me remember, Alex. What?
Skyrim?
Skyrim, yeah, it was Skyrim. You're right.
Yeah.
It's been so long. It's been over a year now, but this is a card that sees play in, again, kind of similar to Wardcrafter, like pretty much any blue deck. Can be used as a control card. Removal spell on summon, essentially dealing 5 damage to a target. But it can also be used as a finisher or an alternate win con. A lot of times you'll see that in like Nixox even, making multiple copies of Encano, triggering face, uprising, and then just blowing them out. I've done it myself from opponents sitting at 30 life and then just kill them with Encanos. But it's a very versatile card, and I think it just sees a lot of play. It's always something that has a really high impact when you do play it.
Yeah, I think the comparison to Wordcrafter is very apt. This is a card, once again, can be a very strong proactive play. You're getting a 5/5 breakthrough is a very relevant threat. It's also very powerful as a reactive tool. It can almost always be used as an efficient removal spell to something on board if that is what you want to do. And it's hyper efficient because any of the spillover damage can always be pushed through as breakthrough. So if the most critical thing for you to kill on board is a 4/3, you don't waste that extra damage. So it's always efficient on rate because of that. And then on top of that, it has those additional synergies that get built in. Just I think similar to how Wordcrafter has Daggerfall Mage and Breton Conjurer is just icing on the cake. With Ancano, you get to just turn your Ice Storms into kills, turn your Red Ears into kills, turn your Firebolts into extra pings to face. Just because why not? The card would be totally fine without that extra text, but it just pushes it even farther.
There is nothing more satisfying than an Encano Red Ear combo kill, I must say. It is amazing to do. Alright, so up next we have yet another blue card, Lightning Bolt. There's a lot to say about this card. It's from the core set. It's been a staple since the beginning. I think, again, it comes to the versatility of the card, like the previous 2 cards we discussed. It's a 4-cost action, that does 4 damage. It can be targeted creep, it can be used as removal, it can be used as reach, and to boot, it has prophecy. There's probably nothing more satisfying or disheartening, depending on which side of the game you're on, losing to Last Room Prophecy or winning with Last Room Prophecy Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, this is the first card on our list that has prophecy, which has been a really important mechanic in the game for a long time, one that there's been a lot of different feelings about. And it's true that we talk about things that shape the meta. And I think you mentioned when we were talking through this ranking system as a team, this is probably the most played around prophecy in the game. Maybe that was Al that said that. It's one of you two.
Yeah, I think that was me.
Yeah. This is a card that anytime you attack a blue deck, you're thinking about. And similar to some other cards we've said, I think this is a common theme for a lot of these cards. This on-rate spell, 4 mana, 4 damage is a good thing to be doing, but it has the flexibility. You can use it aggressively to reach for damage, or you can use it to interact, and then it increases your prophecy count by a lot, which is something we haven't had the opportunity to talk about yet. But prophecy density and deck important. And even in metas where this card has fallen out of favor, where doing 4 damage on 4 mana isn't exactly what you want to be doing. Maybe you'd prefer to be doing 3 damage for 3 mana. This card will still see play in the meta, even in those times, literally because of prophecy. So super powerful and very rarely ever does fall out. There was a brief period recently where it did, but it's pretty much always been present in the game.
All right, the last card that we have to talk about is coming in is Hive Defender. I had this card rated very high on my list personally. I think I did have it actually slip into the top 10. Reason for that being is just, in my opinion, this is absolute best yellow card in the game. It is played in literally every deck with yellow. It's good in aggro, it's good in mid-range, it's good in control. Its stats for 4, costing 3/6 and having guard is just something that no other card really has. But it's just, one of the most played cards in the game. If you see yellow, you're expecting Hive Defender.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about its versatility. I think people oftentimes don't realize how important well-statted guards like this are in aggro decks. I think they can even be more potent there, because while of course in control, having guards to protect your face and force your opponent to interact with your board is very important. In aggro decks, the fact that you're going to have more threatening creatures that have a hard time defending themselves and then have guards to protect them is massively powerful. Being able to control the board, prevent your opponent from interacting with your aggression, super staple in decks like Hlalu and Strike Monk. But I think really they probably couldn't function very well without cards like Hive Defender, or really the card Hive Defender itself. Similar basically in any yellow token deck. And then yeah, it spills over into Control Tribunal, Path Mage, all kinds of things. So yeah, since the absolute beginning of the game, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
All right, so that will conclude our episode for today. Thank you all for joining us, and coming up next, we got the top 10 countdown. So until then, have a good one.